Silly theist claim 10,455 today. I'm on a roll since yesterday with making videos, so at least I know I'm making two people happy with that. So that's what makes it worth it. You know who you are. Okay, today the law of biogenesis, often used. So let's look into that one. Let's take Wikipedia as our starting point. Let's see if it's mentioned, and it is mentioned. You just go to Wikipedia, you look for biogenesis, and then you will find at some point law of biogenesis, and it's defined as follows. Redi's and Pasteur's findings that life comes from life is referred to as the law of biogenesis, which asserts that modern organisms do not spontaneously arise in nature from non-life. Okay, so we have that one covered, and we are talking about life, so let's go into the definition of life. And life is defined as followed on Wikipedia. And if you look for life, then you will find definitions, the no universal definition, yada yada. The conventional definition, the consensus, is that life is a characteristic of organisms that exhibit all or most of the following phenomena. Homeostasis, which is the regulation of the internal environment to maintain a constant state. For example, electrolyte concentration, I don't know what that is, but I do know what sweating to reduce temperature is. And then we have organization, being structurally composed of one or more cells, which are the basic units of life. Metabolism, consuming food to create energy. Growth, adaptation, response to stimuli, reproduction. Okay, so now that we have the law of biogenesis, which says something about life defined, and we have life defined, we can look into the claim which is made often in support of there having to be a God, the law of biogenesis. So that makes me question two possibilities. That would mean that God is alive, but I don't see how God will fit into the definition of life as we've just read. Because if God is not alive, then you are breaking the law of biogenesis, right? Which is, I don't think I will be making a video on the claim that something cannot come from nothing, because usually the theists will break that argument right off the bat by saying that God did not come from something, and then they will hide that by, yeah, but it had to start at some point or something. I don't know how they come to that. It was there eternally. I don't even want to get into a discussion on eternity, because that's going to take an eternity. So I don't see how you silly theists, you know, the ones I'm talking to. I'm not talking about the moderate theists, the theists that using their brain, but the ones that don't use it, but leave the thinking to God. It seems. So I just don't see it. I don't understand what you're talking about, to use a quote from one of my favorites at the Atheist Experience, Tracy. I don't understand what you're talking about when you're using that argument as in support of God, because I don't see how you can say that God is alive, and I don't see how you can say that if he is not alive, that how you are not breaking your law of abiogenesis. For now, I will accept the law of abiogenesis until proven wrong. And do I see any ways that it can be proven wrong? Well, I've studied some chemistry, so I understand something of the bonding of the elements into, the bonding of atoms into molecules and stuff like that. And I know that crystals form. I know that viruses exist, and viruses are not live, but viruses do replicate. They are replicators. They have RNA, so I can see how you go from RNA to DNA, and I could see how you go from atoms bonding into molecules to those molecules growing into larger molecules, and and how those larger molecules then could clutter into RNA, and then RNA replicating itself, because you could see it as a catalyst. I know catalysts exist, so I can see how that works. So please, theists, don't use silly theists. Don't use that argument again. Because the next time you are going to use that argument, I'm going to forward the following law, which I don't know if it exists, but I'm composing it now. I'm, I'm sure I am not original, but anyway, the, it's the law that counts, and not who came up with it. Uh, the law of natural explanations, because every single explanation, workable explanation that actually tells us something about something else, uh, is a natural explanation. We don't have miracle explanations that work, because miracles don't work in a way that you can either make any predictions or, you know. So the law of natural explanations. Ta-da! There we are. Okay, problem solved. So as soon as you can explain your God in a natural way, then I'm going to look at your explanation, and see if I can agree with it. So come on and give me your explanations.